One of Hitman 3's best selling points is that the PlayStation 4 version of the game allows you to play through the entire world of Assassination Trilogy in virtual reality. We've played it, here are our thoughts. This feature was written by Sammy Barker over on the Push Square website. You can also find his full review here on the channel, make sure to check that out. Anyway, enough of that, let's get started. Isn't it ironic that in a year where we all could have benefited from escaping the real world, PlayStation VR got lost in the shuffle a little bit? The excitement surrounding the PlayStation 5 was palpable, and it left very little bandwidth for Sony's creaking but still very entertaining entry-level virtual reality headset. Hitman 3, playable entirely with PlayStation VR, serves as a timely reminder of the technology's potential, and based on this evidence, we can't wait for the next inevitable iteration of the headset. Alright, first let's clean up the caveats, as there are a few to keep in mind. PlayStation VR is only available in the PlayStation 4 version of the game. That's because Sony considers the headset a last-gen peripheral, and therefore has decided to restrict use of it to PlayStation 4 games only. However, if you purchase Hitman 3, you'll get access to both the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 versions of the game, and you can have both installed on your next-gen console if that's what you want to do. Not ideal, but a way around that fact. In addition, perhaps somewhat surprisingly, the title ditches the PlayStation Move motion controllers in favour of the DualShock 4. It still uses the gyroscope in the controller for aiming and interactions, but you'll primarily be interacting with the world in the same way that you would the non-VR version of the game. That means picking up items with buttons and even opening doors with triangle, although you can reach forward with your controller if you prefer. Given how dated the PlayStation Move controllers feel these days, it's a smart decision. You actually lose none of the playability from the standard version of the game, but you gain a lot in immersion. And we mean a lot. Hitman 3 is much more difficult in PlayStation VR, as you can't rely on Agent 47's instincts to see through walls. However, you will find yourself naturally peeking around corners and looking over objects in order to observe the position of NPCs. Actually being able to physically visit all of the game's locations, many of which you'll be familiar with from playing the core game, is a jaw-dropping experience. The scale of Dubai and even the Dartmoor estate is unprecedented once you're inside it, and playing on PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility, the image quality is extraordinary. Every location looks large and clear. We can't emphasize enough just how remarkable it is to be physically present inside these outstanding levels. Everything works the same as in the core game as well. We've got a good route figured out in the UK level where we infiltrate Alexa Carlisle's office, steal her files, and then drop a chandelier on her head, and we were able to execute it almost perfectly in PlayStation VR.
Mission complete. Well done, 47.
In fact, some aspects are enhanced by virtual reality because you can better judge your surroundings and where NPCs are in relation to you. That said, the control scheme isn't always perfect. Anything involving platforming is awkward, and we did notice some very minor changes to the terrain in the China level to account for this. There's a ledge you can crawl across to access a climbable pipe, where in the non-VR game you need to hand off the edge of the wall and reach it that way.
That's good, that's good. Damn.
Things like punching feel weird too, as you're effectively thrusting both hands forward with the DualShock 4. Other actions, like subduing guards, something you'll be doing a lot of, work better. You effectively reach forward with your hands until Agent 47 adopts a throttling pose, and then you tap R2 to put your victims to sleep. Weapons are aimed manually using the gyroscope, but there's an added visual aid if you half squeeze the trigger to help you line up your shots. While you're unlikely to be doing a lot of shooting in this game, we found we were able to hit our targets precisely every single time. time. A lot of work has gone into adapting the control scheme to PlayStation VR, and there are a ton of customization options if you don't quite like how things specifically work. For example, the default turning option relies on a snap system, but you can change the size of those rotations to your liking, or even revert back to a more traditional movement format if you prefer. Obviously, that's going to require a strong stomach, but the option is there. The biggest downside is that in areas where there are large crowds, the game needs to filter these in and out in order to retain a smooth frame rate. This means that you'll physically see NPCs appear and disappear around you as you observe your surroundings, which can be immersion breaking. In locations like Dartmoor and China, where there are not many characters on the screen at once, this isn't a problem. In places like Dubai, it's disappointingly obvious. But as alluded to earlier, physically existing in these spaces is generally outrageously immersive. Not only can you appreciate the scale of your surroundings, but the Hitman trilogy has always traded on its virtual tourism aspect, and so you can have just as much fun simply exploring the locations as actually assassinating your targets. The fact that the entire trilogy is here, available to play in its entirety in virtual reality, is a mind-boggling achievement. And it's a reminder at a time when the technology has been pushed into the background a little to make way for the PS5, that Sony is still very much onto something special here. VR has its fair share of jank, and PlayStation VR with its tiring technology is the biggest example of that right now, but even with all of the shortcomings, Hitman 3 still manages to immerse in a way that's seldom seen. IO Interactive deserves real credit for what it's achieved here. Hey, thank you very much for watching this video. Are you excited for Hitman VR? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it a like and make sure to subscribe to Push Square for everything PlayStation. Thank you, as always, for watching.